Welcome to the Veterans Voice, where we highlight programs and services that support our veterans. I'm Tim Stroud, and this is Colton, the Wonder Dog. We are surrounded by technology 24/7, 365, and the medical community is finding new ways to integrate technology into patient care for better outcomes. Psychologist Dr. Jan Lindsey from the VA tells us how the Houston VA is innovating new treatments for veterans. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, can you tell us how the VA is integrating things and what their commitment is to veterans?
Absolutely. So we started a project about 4 or 5 years ago, and it started with what we call clinic-to-clinic telehealth.
Okay.
So many of our veterans who are struggling with mental health issues, they come to the VA once a week for about 12 weeks, 12 to 16 weeks for psychotherapy, for medication. But some veterans live so far away that it's easier for them to maybe go to a CBOC or a community clinic. And what we started doing was telehealth from the main medical center to these community clinics so that veterans didn't have to drive.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was really, really powerful because many of the specialty mental health providers are actually from the Houston VA. So they work in the city and they were able to deliver care via telehealth to the clinics. But through all of our projects, we always talk to veterans because veterans have great ideas about how to serve other veterans, and they're always very generous with their ideas and time. And they said, you know, I've been doing FaceTime with my grandkids for 2 years. I've connected with my family when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan over Skype. Why do I have to drive to a community clinic and sit in front of a computer to talk to my therapist or my psychologist or my psychiatrist?
What a great idea,
I know.
and what an amazing way for the VA to lean forward in a saddle and make sure that our veterans are getting the care they needed, whether they live in the greater Houston area or they live in rural areas across a great country of Texas.
Or even just the traffic in Houston.
It gets a little crazy. It's like you're driving around like, look kids, Big Ben, Parliament, Big Ben, Parliament.
Exactly.
Well, you're talking about this technology. How many of the veterans are the early adopters and have brought this into their fold?
Well, over the last 3 or 4 years, about 1,000 veterans have received their mental health care this way. So this is really a growing program. We have over 70 mental health clinicians in the Houston area who can deliver care via video to home. We call it VA Video Connect.
Okay.
It's really just FaceTime. The good part about it is it's got a lot more security, encryption. It's locked down so that you know that it's a private connection, unlike some of the other modalities. So VA's really invested a lot into letting this be an option for veterans.
Well, I've got a couple veterans that I've referred up to the VA here recently, and they've told me great things. What are the other experiences that the veterans are talking about?
So I think treatments for things like panic disorder. So if you can, we've had some veterans who have suffered with panic attacks, and it makes it very difficult for them to drive or even leave their home sometimes. And when you're able to deliver care directly into a veteran's home, or maybe their place of work, and you can do things like practice going outside using the tablet. You can do an iPhone, an iPad, a desktop computer. And so they're telling us, hey, I'm able to leave my home and re-engage with my life because of this service.
And then veterans get to breathe again. And after the break, we're going to breathe and we're going to learn about what building bridges with technology means.
HCC. So many careers, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
I've seen people's lives change just by attending a class at HCC.
Some of them might not have the financial means to go to a four-year university. That doesn't make them any less quote-unquote smart than the kids who go to a four-year school.
HCC is easy to get to. It's easy to apply and easy to become a part of.
It gave me so much confidence.
Once you finish your 2 years there, you can transition into a four-year university or go into the workforce.
It's affordable, it's accessible, it changes lives.
HCC. So many reasons, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
Welcome back to the Veterans Voice. No matter what it is, there's an app for that. But how do you find just the app you need to make your life work a little bit better? Cristen Reat has the answer, and she's from Easter Seals in the Bridging Apps program. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Tell our viewers and our listeners today about the Bridging Apps program, would you?
Sure. So the Bridging Apps program is both an in-person program that involves mobile technology and a website, bridgingapps.org, that looks at how you use mobile devices like smartphones, tablets, and applications that can help enhance your life.
Well, and you have a personal reason why you launched it. Could you tell us about that and your mission?
I do. So I have a son. I have two sons, but my younger son, who's now 15, his name is Vincent, and he was born with multiple disabilities. And so when he was about 4 or 5, I was trying to figure out ways for him to learn, to get ahead, to increase his therapy. And so that is about the same time that the iPad came out. And so we realized that touchscreen technology that's as mobile and accessible as that was going to be an important tool in his life. So we started investigating all of those types of apps that were helpful, and we started the website.
I love it because I've seen it work firsthand with a lot of our veterans. And for our viewers today, would you tell a little bit more of how your technology and your classes help out those with disabilities and transitioning?
Absolutely. So the website basically is, if you've ever done an app search looking for that app for a particular thing, whether it's finance or health, you might just Google search, or you might look in the iTunes store and may or may not find what you need. But we have a database of about 3,000 apps, both for the Android platform, if you're an Android user, or the Apple platform. So if you have an iPhone, an iPod Touch, or an iPad, you can look for different types of apps to help you in therapy, for financial, looking at financial, building your financial health, for looking education-wise. And so not only do we have this database that you can access online, we have professional reviewers who look at all the apps and how they can help people. So it's really high quality information that you can search all different ways, all different prices. And then the in-person program is you can explore this technology at one of our 3 assistive technology labs.
Ooh, that's a lot. I love it. Let's break down, let's dive a little bit deeper. You talked about the financial classes. So tell us about the applications that will help veterans and family members get back on track.
Right, so there are lots of different types of apps. There's actually a word for it called FinTech, that stands for financial technology. And so this is a really, really booming area right now where even if you go to a bank, more than likely, your bank probably has an app that you can use to access your account and your information. And so what we do is we look at how to help veterans and their families use technology, especially those who have disabilities and may not physically be able to get to a bank. What are some really good, helpful apps that they can have to help manage, to help keep themselves on track? So we look at, again, for both platforms, all types of apps, everything from banking apps to an app like Digit that helps you save, credit-wise, that helps manage your credit, all types of different apps that you can find. And apps are different for different people.
You mentioned a couple of them, and through your team, I downloaded a couple of them, Mint and Clarity. And I'll self-confess that I was like, I probably don't need that. I'm old school. I use an Excel spreadsheet and I'm good to go. And I use my phone app from the bank. But because of those, I found $492 in January that I was overspending. And a lot of them were with the applications and memberships I simply wasn't using anymore. I would delete the app on my phone, but forgot that it was still billing me. And this app reminded me, and it saved me tons of money. And you have more of those on your website, right?
Right, and that's a great point, is that not every app is for everybody, and you might be looking for one particular feature or a whole range of things like making a spreadsheet online. And so there's really something for everybody, and so it's our job to help vet them and figure out what might be helpful for you.
Thank you, Cristen. After the break, we learn about the connection between the Army and academics for one HCC instructor.
HCC. So many degrees, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
I learned how to cook from my grandmother in the mountains of Oaxaca. Every time I need some comfort, I just remember what she told me. HCC definitely was a turning point in my life. What those wonderful teachers and instructors taught me is priceless. I have won many awards and worked in many restaurants. HCC was the window which opened the opportunity for me. For this wonderful city, they have given me so much. I will thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Welcome back to the Veterans Voice. Darren Baskin has served as a psychology and academic student success instructor at HCC for more than a decade. But service is a tradition that goes much further back. He's also an Army veteran and served here in Texas. Tell us more about that.
So I was just a young kid right out of high school, 18 years old, didn't have a real plan, and there was only certain things that you could actually do. And so the military was not at the top of my list, but it was on the list.
Okay. Well, you made that transition from here in Texas, from military into academia, and now you do a whole lot to help veterans with their success. Why don't you tell the viewers today about that?
Yes. So I really think that a lot of the skills that we get as military personnel are some of the same exact skills that we need to have as students. Time management, persistence, critical thinking, analytical thinking, being able to complete tasks on the spot. These are all things that we're trained to do while we're in the military. And I'm a big proponent of ensuring that the service members that decide to make HCC their home, that they understand that you have those transferable skills. All you have to do is bring them into the classroom.
Excellent. And now during the break, we were talking about the hard skills and soft skills, but also getting veterans to a point where they can call this home and then they can set some SMART goals. So let's talk a little bit further about that.
Yeah, and actually that's one of the things that we teach in our academic course is setting SMART goals.
Okay.
And allowing the student to be, you know, the originator of their goals. It's not our role or our responsibility to set those goals in place for them. They should be able to establish those goals and establish those roles themselves.
Gotcha. Now, you're also part of the Senate here, is that correct?
Yes,
That
sir.
sounds like very prestigious. Tell us more about that.
So the Faculty Senate is the voice of the faculty.
Okay.
I sit in as the Faculty Senate President. It is one of the most prestigious positions you can get as a faculty member, if not the most prestigious, because you're there to represent the best interest of all faculty, not just full-time, but also part-time adjunct faculty. So I'm there to ensure that our voice is carried throughout the whole institution at all times.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of veterans that are transitioning through a lot of the bases here in Texas. They have a lot of questions. And so when they have no idea what lies ahead for them in the civilian world, and the best place to start is in academia to put some of those credits underneath their belt. And they don't need a 4-year degree. What advice would you give them?
I would definitely tell them to, if you're just getting out the military and you really have no educational background, to definitely start at a community college.
Okay.
I would definitely prefer them to start at HCC.
Right.
But definitely start at a community college. It will give you the basis. It will definitely give you the framework, and it will give you that sense of belonging, which is what a lot of veterans are used to. They're used to having that camaraderie and that family and that connectiveness.
Yes.
And we get that here at Houston Community College. We are a connected, well-developed family, and I think that they will benefit more from being at a smaller institution and trying to come right out and go into a much larger institution.
Oh, I completely agree. In fact, if you look at technology, for those who are studying a 4-year degree, by the time they're into their 2nd year, that technology is already leapfrogged over where their degree is going to be, and they lack the real-world experience to take them further in their jobs. And so I love what HCC does. In fact, I know they help them find local scholarships and a lot of stuff as well. Yes. Excellent. Well, thanks for being with us on the show today.
Thank you.
If you'd like more information on any of the organizations and services that you've seen on the program today, visit our website at hccs.edu/Veterans Voice. For everyone here at HCC TV and everyone at Easter Seals of Greater Houston, thank you for joining us on the Veterans Voice.